And for the 12 years of my public education, I've struggled a lot with uncertainty on what purpose I would serve and what exactly it is that I wanted to do. But after just a large chunk of my life, um, I now sort of have an idea of what exactly matters to me and what I want to do, which is get a job and then work my way up towards medical assisting. I feel ready to pursue my future goals, but I'd be lying if I said it that it was easy. And a lot of what I have to show centers not only around my successes, but my challenges, misjudgments, and yeah. Before we get into how my years went, I'd like to share a little bit about myself. Okay. In the 17 years I've lived, I've never been the loudest nor the most outgoing person in the room. During the early years of my childhood, my quiet nature was often praised in classroom settings, seen as a good sign of discipline and good behavior. But over time, my silence that was once praised started feeling like a limitation, and I really found it hard to speak to others unless I was directly addressed to. I avoided stepping outside the sidelines and struggled a lot with applying myself in social settings, and I never liked being labeled as shy, but eventually I realized that being reserved isn't something to be ashamed of, and that it's simply a part of who I am. Forming connections and opening up may be more difficult for me, but is not at all impossible. And I've found my support systems here at TCS and leaned into the relationships that I built, even if they took longer to grow, and started realizing that I can give the community here a chance. And all in all, I like to go through the years starting from the beginning. When I started TCS as a freshman, I was really nervous about adjusting in a community that focused on social connections. And the situations I've encountered over the years have taught me a lot more than just academics, but ways to build character. It also taught me the value of keeping an open mind. Advisory in particular was a class that I could not see myself being a part of. Assignment after assignment seemed to focus all on presenting and sharing personal aspects about yourself, which I found uncomfortable. I believed that by keeping parts of myself hidden that I could avoid the fear of other people's reactions. And therefore, I avoided as much participation as I could. However, I slowly came to the realization that no matter the disdain I felt, I'd be with the same group of students for the next 4 years. I couldn't continue holding on to the mindset that if I just disengage and shut myself off from others, that I could avoid every uncomfortable situation that I'm being put into. And I stayed hopeful, and gradually with time, I started seeking support from facilitators and began putting efforts into adapting to TCS's unique way of learning. Through understanding my limitations and working alongside accommodations that could slowly build up my confidence. One key turning point for my 101 year was independent projects. They were assignments that gave us the choice on what topic we could decide on and relied heavily on self-expression. Independent projects gave me a structured way to improve and really push myself to complete presentations, even through discomfort. I found myself engaging in conversations that, while not deeply personal, still allowed me to connect with others and could even flourish from something as simple as sharing a book that I was interested in. I learned that vulnerability doesn't always mean exposing your thoughts and can begin from something as simple as letting others see what you're passionate about. That realization changed everything for me. It helped me grow into someone who's more open, more confident, and more willing to be a part of the community here. In my 2-1 year, I felt it was a time where my collaboration skills were really challenged yet allowed room to grow. Starting this year off, I didn't really know what to expect of the new freshman. Um, and during this time, I just found myself overthinking a lot on how things could turn out, especially now that I'd be placed in the role of an upperclassman for the first time in a while. Collaboration has honestly been a huge struggle of mine for a while, and finding groups in particular was something that I had the least, I just found the least favorite to do. It can be difficult when you look around the room, seeing everyone else quickly pairing up with their friends, and you're just standing there unsure where to go and are just waiting for the time to pass. I've never been the type of person to take initiative or lead things from the start, but I found that as the years followed that was something that I had to work on and I had to do. Given the limited connections I had at the time, the idea of putting myself out there seemed almost impossible for me, but I can recall a significant moment my 2-1 year where during one of our first projects, the Five Kingdoms, we were texted sorting ourselves into groups, and as usual, I found myself drifting towards the side and just waiting for things to happen. However, something shifted in me, and rather than retreating or passively waiting for someone else to come up to me, I decided to take a proactive approach and looked around the room for anyone who may be under a similar situation as me. And then I saw 2 students, both 101s at the time, who also seemed to be without a group, and it wasn't easy to put myself out there, especially when I didn't know these students, but I knew it would be a good opportunity for me to move out my comfort zone and initiate something new. Together, the 3 of us formed a group for the project, and in hindsight, it was a small but important victory for me. It showed me that even when you're unsure or feeling disconnected from others, that it's still possible to see connections of your own. And instead of waiting for things to just happen, sometimes you just gotta take charge and decide for yourself what you would like to see. And then for my 301 year, it was probably one of the most stressful years in terms of workload and expectations and just self-drive. It felt almost instantly we started looking to our future, worked nonstop on applications, resumes, and for me, it made balancing work time on advisory and morning projects almost impossible. Integrated projects are classes in the morning that are OA in which we receive credit, and integrated projects for me have never been the easiest, especially when almost every day it was turn and talk to your partner, and almost all the time I'd be just keeping to myself, watching everyone else just talk to each other. My confidence has never reached the level that I'd like, but regardless of not having much connections in class, I still carried out my days as best as I could. I persevered through struggles and chose to continue moving forward. Though my motivation is rather inconsistent, I see for my 301 self that it's something worth fighting for, and it can be achieved as long as I'm willing to take the changes necessary. One way I managed to regulate and organize myself at school was through journaling and using my learning plan that recorded my thoughts, feelings, and just school life overall. It allowed me to set goals for myself, recognize both my faults and my strengths, and just become truthful to myself. I think that this helped out a lot with me handling my emotions and just my ability to navigate through challenge. Rather than bottling things in like I had before in the past, I made time for myself to reflect on things, plan out ways in which I could improve on them, and just not ignore the troubles that I've been having. It made my time here a lot less exhausting by staying truthful and remaining committed to my writing. And then now thinking to this year, I've seen quite a few difficulties with myself where many obstacles had hindered me from fully pursuing and enjoying my experience here at TCS. specifically my interactions with peers in a classroom setting. As a result, I feel like I just prevented myself from completing projects, especially those of a social nature. And from this, I found that I had to step forward more and advocate for myself more fully than I have in the past, resulting in me coordinating meetings with staff at TCS, such as Ashley, our counselor, to create smoother transitions in a more safe and comfortable environment for me because of incidences from the past. Meeting with Ashley as a result of conflicts I've been having definitely helped me unleash my inner voice, battle my fears, as well as my hesitations. Speaking out from experience can be a long and exhausting process, but nevertheless is not impossible and is worth the time and pursuit. Without expressing my concerns and conflicts that I've been having, I really wouldn't see myself continuing at this place. Completing assignments would be a whole lot more stressful, and some examples of projects that I desperately needed to advocate for myself were our Law and Order pre-acts. In this class, we were assigned I don't know what to say. Our Law and Order assignments were regarding the law, in which we just learned a lot about amendments and then worked our way up towards enacting a jury court session. I needed a lot more help during this time because I found it hard to rely on my partner when they weren't there all the time and I had to do majority of the work. But from seeking guidance from facilitators, I really kept myself on the right track and gave myself the motivation to finish my research to the best of my ability, even though my partner is pretty unreliable. And then now the moment we've all been waiting for. Fall of 2025 will see me at an important junction in the road to my future. At this point, I have a plan on how things will turn out, and firstly, I think it's best that I receive some real-life experience through employment, which requires a well-built resume and cover letter showcasing my skills and selling myself as a workspace asset. So far, I've listed a lot of my experience on opportunities that I've done here at TCS, either it be volunteering or taking out the recyclables or helping packaging Bite-to-Go bags. Overall, I feel my chances are at a slightly higher advantage, and I've already applied to multiple places such as Safeway, Walmart, and Fred Meyer's. Taking a gap year afterwards, I will need to determine whether or not I pursue a secondary education at the collegiate level, whether that be additional workspace development or seeking professional training or skill-based jobs through apprenticeship programs in the future. And the medical field is an area that I'm particularly interested in towards my future. And I feel that my windows are open, knowing that I'm familiar with the application process. And I've been accepted to both CWU and Eastern. And I owe this confidence to my trials, tribulations, and skills that I've built over my 4 years here at TCS. How I prepare for the responsibilities and obligations that come with adulthood is through budgeting and planning based on my expectations of what fall 2025 will look like. Living with family for the following year, I made sure to fill out a budget plan that shows what to expect finance-wise and what I'll be saving for and spending sums of my money on. I believe from all the hard work that I've done and through the 4 years of education that I've received from TCS that I'm more than ready to accomplish my goals and achieve life after high school and live a life of independence. And then thank you. Any questions?
We'll start with the panel, and then if there's time left, we'll open it up to the audience as well.
Good job. I've known Rielle for 4 years. lot of growth. You were very shy and timid and, you know, just, I'd ask you a question and it was just like, oh my God, I don't know what to say, you know. But, but that's normal, you know, it's new and you really just, you're a very kind person. So I really like that you're choosing to be an MA. I mean, I think that's a good thing for you because it's a one-on-one. It's such a huge, you know, I worked for a doctor, so, and I've seen that, and that's a good job.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've seen you be so kind to your friends, and I see that the respect that they have for you. And it's just been a pleasure to watch you grow into this amazing person. Nice job.
Thank you.
Great job. I love the self-awareness. Like you were
Mhm.
aware that you were having troubles with different things and how you were trying to push yourself to make yourself do things. I know that is hard to do. So I commend you for that. I'm just gonna say this, like you can take it for what it's worth, but I think you should consider design, like fashion design, cause girl. Like if you dress this way all the time, I think that's probably like just a natural thing for you. Just gonna lay that out there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great job. I'm curious, I was listening to the whole time. I mean, school seems like an experience that you did and
Mhm.
enjoyed at some level, you know. Where do you find most of your confidence? Like, what are the things outside of school that you feel like deeply confident in?
I mean, it's hard to say like outside of school. I mean, I guess when I surround myself with the right people, that I just feel like a greater will to just push myself and like do things, like my family. But I feel like for like in school, my confidence is really from drumming because we do West African drumming here at TCS, and it was a really great way for me to just connect with others and like really strengthen bonds with others and like build community, because we'd go outside to like the public to like perform, and that's something that I did not like at first and even avoided my 101 year. But I remember giving this one performance at the park where I live a chance, and I had a great time. And then after that, I kind of just gained more respect and just interest in drumming, and then ended up going outside more to like the community to perform with my other fellow drummers. And I think that's like my favorite aspect of TCS, and I owe a lot to it.
That's cool. If I were you, I'd explore why you enjoy that so much in terms of like
Mhm.
being able to be part of something, but not necessarily be focused on.
Yeah.
And like what you get from an experience like that, because there are a lot of experiences and careers that you can enter where that's the case. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I would just think more about why that's an important part of the experience.
Right, thank you.
First off, I'm going to apologize for mispronouncing your name at the beginning. I was guessing and it was wrong, so I.
No, it's okay. I didn't even notice.
You know, something that really struck me is that at least 3 different times that I counted during your presentation, you talked about the importance of staying truthful to yourself.
Mhm.
You talked about journaling as one way to do that. How do you
Mhm.
plan to integrate that into your future as you move out of TCS and into the next step?
For me, I definitely think it's achieving just like thick skin, because people can say mean things and they've had said things, and there's times where I just let it get to me. But during those times, I found myself just like kind of getting to this cycle of just like depression, I guess. And it really interfered with like how I just like went about my days here at TCS. But then as I started surrounding myself with like good people, I started noticing like the good aspects of myself, and like didn't really think about the negatives too much anymore. But I realized that's something that I kind of have to generate for myself, and that I won't always have someone there to just like cheer me up or like remind me of the good things that I have. but definitely just like staying true to like my identity and the way I just express myself is something that I want to like do and hope to stay truthful towards.
It's a very critical skill and a very mature skill to be developing, and I admire it greatly, so, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your, I hope I heard this correctly, that being reserved and is not the same as like necessarily being shy, and that I appreciate your confidence in who you are. And not that that's a permeating confidence all the time, but like you're so steady here, like your story is, like consistent in the sense of, you know, I tried, I'm learning, I'm reflective. I was reading your learning plans, your reflection and your journaling is pretty profound, at your age right now, and just thinking, you're gonna be able to like live life, you know, like, I'm excited about gap year. I'm a huge fan of gap years. I think we don't take enough advantage of them, and that confidence and this is what I wanna do right now, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna work, and adulting, she said adulting,
Yeah.
right, you're adulting, I love that.
And budgeting.
I'm adult, and I am struggling with adulting. But truly, like, I'm inspired by your continued growth and attempts, and like the stretch, I just heard like 101 and 201 and 301, like you just keep growing and expanding. And I'm excited about how you'll continue to grow and expand, and I think in ways that matter to you and honor your true self. And that, I think, is most powerful from what I heard today. I'm so glad you had an opportunity through some real uncomfortable times and things you didn't really like to find that sense of expansion and even gratitude. And we didn't hear much about drumming in the presentation, but even to just see how you reflect about your drumming experience, and just excited for you for what's next, and being faithful to yourself and enough in yourself, and I think that's just so powerful.
Thank you.
Open it up to the audience.
You're amazing. And number two, you kind of talked about like pushing yourself in ways you didn't think you were going to, and like now you're feeling a little more confident being in front of people. I mean, you were just in front of us like talking for like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And with like taking a gap year, maybe exploring like some non-college level jobs, I don't know, some entry level jobs, like what's something that you want to strive to do that's like just recreational for you, that maybe that includes like challenging yourself to talk more, but maybe it doesn't. Like, what do you want to do with that time that's like just for yourself? Or
Definitely just get a feel of like what jobs are like, because I've never like worked like during high school. Like I babysit and like volunteer, but I don't really count that as like adulting experience yet. And I feel like even just like from like jobs like working at Safeway as like a cashier can really help me just like interact with others and just like talk one-on-one, and then hopefully improve just like my communication and just like my approach, because I do sometimes come across as like intimidating or like kind of, I don't know how to describe it, grouchy. And because like I've kind of just noticed like throughout the years, like especially like now in time, where people just come up to me and they're like, and they say like they've always wanted to talk to me or they've always found me cool, but were like too scared to say anything. And that's just because I'm not really expressing it on my face, and I kind of do like unintentionally shut myself off from others so I can see why they didn't want to like approach me sooner. So I feel like just working a job, I might be able to like help improve that, because you sort of just kind of have to do that in like customer service and like greet everyone. And yeah, I hope that's just something that I work on and can do.
Thank you. You understand what amazing drawing was. And maybe it's like your steadiness and sense of self that you're like a metronome. So I was wondering if you're like gonna do anything with music.
I mean, I've never been like an artsy or like music person. I feel like the only instrument I've played is like the viola, and that was like 5th grade, and even then it would like screech every time I would like use the bow. I definitely do like drumming a lot, and I'm gonna be sad when I have to like stop doing that, but I still have like a couple of days and like one final performance. I haven't thought much about the music path, but I don't know. I think it's something I could look into.
I think you should buy yourself a drum with your first paycheck.
No, Dave.
They gave her a drum.
No, yeah, Dave gave me like a tiny one. It's like this big,
It's a little djembe.
but it plays loudly. I make sure to pick the loudest one rather than the best looking.
Good. Well, I just appreciate how thoughtful and reflective you've been the whole time. So I got to see you behind the scenes a lot as your advisor.
Hmm.
And after school, coming back from the Y, you're in the room waiting for your ride, and you were just a rock star. Every day, you would share whether it was good or bad. You knew why it was or wasn't what you wanted it for, and you would come back the next day. And I'm super thankful to be part of that.
Well, panel,
Yes.
thank you
Thank you.
so much. I would love to have a little bit of time with the four of you. Teresa, I love you, see you all the time, but you're not gonna care about this. It has nothing to do with what we're doing here. But if you're willing to stick around, I'd love to show you guys something.
Yes.
Also, we have just a criminal amount of cookies over there. Entire boxes, as much as you can carry, you are welcome to
Oh,
take.
they're
Girl
gross.
Scouts
You can carry.
have blessed us with cookies upon
Share
cookies.
with you.
And
Maybe,
also TCS mugs.
Oh, and TCS mugs.
Or take one and
Take
share
a
with the
mug.
college.
Cute.
So when you go.
Anyway, let's take a few minutes and we can go. Show you.
Hi, I'm good to see you. I'm not realize. Hello. How are you? Sorry, I didn't know you. Nice to see you. You too. I just love that we were all here today.
After high school, I took my.
That is like so serendipitous. Thank you. Eric's like a full representative here.
That's not in a big way. So after high school, I took,
I'm so glad you did that. I did not.
went to Alaska and spent about 6 months making farm money. Came home and started all the national activities. But before that, when I was working in Alaska, it was in third grade history. It was very easy. But one of the amazing things that reminds me of is that every 2 hours you got to kind of go break, and then your tentative is rough. And the break room, it was all the good ones.
That was like.
And so, and we were working 16 hours. And so,
We were already middle, we were.
you know, the first couple of weeks, I turned out like cookies. Within a month, I was eating a bunch of cookies.
And,
3 cups
being
of
about,
coffee.
like.
So I'd be walking home after work.
Started early, yeah, and so, I just
It's like, oh my gosh. So ever since then, when people say, take as many cookies you want, it's fair.
Right, how we put the price, like, we have a test on 200 countries, and it'd be like 80. Oh my God, I don't care about it. Like, why? And to see at that age. It's about like,